Hello, welcome to my channel, Manzoormampadtravelog. Once again, I welcome you to my channel. Today, I would like to introduce the beautiful European country, Switzerland. I would go to an exploration through this beautiful country and the descriptions about it. Please watch and let me know your valuable feedbacks. Thank you very much. For ravishing alpine scenery and quaint villages oozing storybook charm, it's hard to beat Switzerland. The soaring snow-capped peaks of the Alps, glittering blue lakes, emerald valleys, glaciers, and picturesque lakescape hamlets imbue this landlocked nation with a fairy tale beauty. Snuggled amid two mountain valleys and lakes lies world-class international resorts and a long list of things to do, including hiking, biking, climbing, paragliding, skiing, and tobogganing. Travelers come here for jaw-dropping scenery but are charmed by the many cultural attractions. Stable in history, cities such as Zurich, Geneva, and Lausanne offer excellent museums and galleries, historic buildings, and renowned music festivals. The capital is Bern, with a stunning medieval old town hugging the crook of a river. Germany, Italy, Austria, and France border Switzerland, and their languages and customs infuse this country with a multicultural sophistications. The ton extractions and beautiful places to be visited in the Switzerland are the first one, the Matterhorn. The Matterhorn, Switzerland's iconic point peak, is one of the highest mountains in the Alps. On the border with Italy, this legendary peak rises to 4,478 meters, and its four-step faces lie in the directions of the compass points. The first summiting in 1865 ended tragically when four climbers fell into their deaths during the descent. Today, thousands of experienced climbers come here each summer. At the foot of this mighty peak lie the charming village of Zermatt, a top international resort with horse-drawn carriage rides, quaint chalets, and world-class restaurants and hotels. To preserve the air quality and peaceful ambience, motorized vehicles are banned in the village. The second one, Jungfrau, the top of the Europe. One of the most popular things to do in the beautiful Bernese Oberland is a train journey to Jungfrau, the top of Europe, with an observation terrace and scientific observatory perched at 3,454 meters. The longest glacier in Europe, the Great Alpstad Glacier, begins at Jungfrau and is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The famous Eiger Trail from the Eiger Glacier station to alpine plunges to the rocks at the foot of the north face. Other popular walks include Panorama Way to the sunny south-facing first slope, the Gleisterholz Glacier Gorge, and the Opelschulweg, the high-altitude trail from Holstein to Brandegg through fields of flowers, alpine pastures, and woodlands. The less active can ride gondolas and cable cars to scenic viewpoints over the Lauterbrunnen Valley. And the third one, Interlaken. Nestland between Lake Thun to the west and Lake Breens to the east, Interlaken is one of the Switzerland's most popular summer holiday resorts. In the center of town, Ohamate is a marvel of urban planning with 35 acres of open space, flower gardens, hotels, and caves around the whole back. The main boulevard through here with the breathtaking vistas of the mountains. And the fourth one, Lucerne. Imagine a sparkling blue lake surrounded by mountains, a car-free medieval town, covered bridges, waterfront promenades, frescoed historic buildings, and sun-splashed plazas with bubbling fountains. No wonder Lucerne, in Germany, Lucerne is a top of spot for tourists, famed for its music concerts. This quintessential Swiss charm lures renowned solo seats, contests, and orchestras to its annual International Music Festival. The Culture and Convention Center is home to one of the world's leading concert halls. And the fifth one, Lake Geneva. Lake Geneva, Europe's largest alpine lake, straddles the Swiss-French border and laps at the shores of some Switzerland's most popular cities. The city of Geneva, in French Geneva, in German Genève, sits between pretty snow-capped peaks at the point where the Rhine spills into Lake Geneva. This French-speaking capital of peace is the European seat of the United Nations and exudes a pleasing blend of French joie de vivre and Swiss structure. Promenades, parks, and gardens surrounded the lake, and the old town is lovely spots to stroll among the historic buildings. The Jet d'Eau, a fountain in Lake Geneva, shooting water 150 meters into the air, is a famous landmark. Cultural attractions include the Opera House and the Grand Theatre, which stages international acts. And the sixth one, Château de Chillon, Montreux. On the shores of Lake Geneva near Montreux, the Château de Chillon Castle has inspired artists and writers for centuries. Lord Byron, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, and Victor Hugo are among the luminaries who have written about this architectural treasure. On the stronghold of counts and dukes of Savoy from the 12th century, the complex encompasses about 25 buildings clustered around these country yards. Highlights include the great halls with magnificent views of Lake Geneva, the Gothic underground rooms, the chapel around the 14th century paintings, and the Camera Domini, a bedroom occupied by the Duke of Savoy, decorated with medieval murals. And seventh one, St. Moritz. Mirror-like lakes, glaciers, jagged peaks, alpine forest, and odors of sunshine make St. Moritz one of the world's top mountain destinations and a must-visit on your list of things to do in Switzerland. Palatial hotels and pricey restaurants are par for the course at this chic resort town, which has hosted 2 Winter Olympics. Sitting in an alpine valley 1,800 meters above sea level, the town is divided into 2 parts. St. Maurice Dorf sites on a sunny terrace overlooking the Lake of St. Maurice. The other part of the town, lakeside St. Maurice Bath, on the valley floor, is a health resort with less expensive lodging. Winter sports run the gamut from skiing, snowboarding, skating, and bobsledding to tobogganing on the famous 1.2 kilometers long Cresta Run. And the 8th one, Bern, in a stunning location perched on a peninsula of the River Erie. The Swiss capital of Bern exudes old world charm, and the city's medieval old town is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Strolling along the cobalt streets, visitors can explore the tallest cathedral in Switzerland with panoramic views from its tower, 16th century fountains, the Site-Glogie medieval clock tower with moving puppets, and 6 kilometers of shopping arcades called Lauben by the locals. The Rose Garden offers beautiful views of the old town center. And the 9th one, Lake Lugano and Ticino. Lake Lugano lies on the Swiss-Italian border in Ticino, Switzerland's only official Italian-speaking canton, and offers a tantalizing taste of the Mediterranean. Citrus, figs, palms, and pomegranates flourish in the mild climate here, even as snow-capped peaks beckon in the distance. In the town around Lake Lugano and Lake Maggiore to the west, the feel of Italy is unmistakable in the architecture, the pizzas, and the passion for fine food, which spills over the Italian borders from the south, east, and west. And the last and final, the Zurich city. Zurich is Switzerland's largest city, a major transportation hub, and a top starting point for travelers. The city lies at the northwestern end of Lake Zurich, astride the river Limit. Beyond its buttoned-up facade, this affluent banking capital boasts a rich line-up of cultural treasures. A great place to begin a walking tour is the cobbled streets of the old town with its quaint shops, caves, and galleries. Mile-long Bahnhofstrasse, one of Europe's finest shopping strands, beckons with the designer stores selling fashion, watches, and jewelry. Venturing away from the boutiques, visitors will find more than 15 museums and 100 art galleries, as well as many other tourist attractions. This is the main tourist attraction places in Switzerland. We might visit there and we can enjoy a lot more things in this beautiful European country. Thank you for listening me, Manzoormampadtravelog. Bye.
Since 1848, the Swiss Confederation has been a federal republic of relatively autonomous cantons, some of which have a history of confederacy that goes back more than 700 years, putting them among the world's oldest surviving republics. The early history of the region is tied to that of Alpine culture. Switzerland was inhabited by the Helvetii, and it came under Roman rule in the 1st century BC. Gallo-Roman culture was amalgamated with Germanic influence during late antiquity, with the eastern part of Switzerland becoming Alemannic territory. The area of Switzerland was incorporated in the Frankish Empire in the 6th century. In the High Middle Ages, the eastern part became part of the Duchy of Swabia within the Holy Roman Empire, while the western part was part of Burgundy. The Old Swiss Confederacy in the late Middle Ages established its independence from the House of Habsburg and the Duchy of Burgundy, and in the Italian Wars gained territory south of the Alps from the Duchy of Milan. The Swiss Reformation divided the Confederacy and resulted in a drawn-out history of internal strife between the 13 cantons in the early modern period. In the wake of the French Revolution, Switzerland fell to a French invasion in 1798 and was reformed into the Helvetic Republic, a French client state. Napoleon's Act of Mediation in 1803 restored the status of Switzerland as a confederation, and after the end of the Napoleonic period, the Swiss Confederation underwent a period of turmoil culminating in a brief civil war in 1847 and the creation of a federal constitution in 1848. The history of Switzerland since 1848 has been largely one of success and prosperity. Industrialization transformed the traditionally agricultural economy, and Swiss neutrality during the World Wars and the success of the banking industry furthered the ascent of Switzerland to its status as one of the world's most stable economies. Switzerland signed a free trade agreement with the European Economic Community in 1972, and has participated in the process of European integration by way of bilateral treaties, but it has notably resisted full accession to the European Union even though its territory almost completely has been surrounded by EU member states since 1995. Early history. Prehistory. Archaeological evidence suggests that hunter-gatherers were already settled in the lowlands north of the Alps in the Middle Paleolithic period 150,000 years ago. By the Neolithic period, the area was relatively densely populated. Remains of Bronze Age piled dwellings from as early as 3800 BC have been found in the shallow areas of many lakes. Around 1500 BC, Celtic tribes settled in the area. The Rhaetians lived in the eastern regions, while the west was occupied by the Helvetii. A female who died in about 200 BC was found buried in a carved tree trunk during a construction project at the Kern School complex in March 2017 in Auxergel. Archaeologists revealed that she was approximately 40 years old when she died and likely carried out little physical labor when she was alive. A sheepskin coat, a belt chain, a fancy wool dress, a scarf and a pendant made of glass and amber beads were also discovered with the woman. Antiquity. In 58 BC, the Helvetii tried to evade migratory pressure from Germanic tribes by moving into Gaul, but were defeated by Julius Caesar's armies and then sent back. The Alpine region became integrated into the Roman Empire and was extensively Romanized in the course of the following centuries. The center of Roman administration was at Aventicum. In 259, Alemanni tribes overran the Limes, putting the settlements on Swiss territory on the frontier of the Roman Empire. The first Christian bishoprics were founded in the 4th century. With the fall of the Western Roman Empire, Germanic tribes entered the area. Burgundians settled in the west, while in the north, Alemanni settlers slowly forced the earlier Celto-Roman population to retreat into the mountains. Burgundy became a part of the Kingdom of the Franks in 534. 2 years later, the Dukedom of the Alamans followed suit. In the Alaman-controlled region, only isolated Christian communities continued to exist and Irish monks reintroduced the Christian faith in the early 7th century. Medieval period. Under the Carolingian kings, the feudal system proliferated, and monasteries and bishoprics were important bases for maintaining the rule.